Everybody shout, enough is enough. Ladies, I need you to hear me today because I'm on a mission to wake somebody up. Too many women are giving their heart, their time, and their strength to men who don't deserve it. A man who is using you will always say the right thing, but his words are a cover-up for his intentions. If a man is using you, he will say these things. And today we're going to expose the lies. All my sisters, I need you to hear me today. When a man looks at you with those soft eyes, holds your hand and says, I just need some time, you need to wake up and hear what he's really saying. Because what he's really saying is, I don't want to lose you, but I'm not ready to keep you either. He's saying, I want the benefits of your presence, the warmth of your love, the strength of your loyalty, but I don't want to give you the commitment you deserve. And let me tell you something, that is not love, that is convenience. That is selfishness wrapped in sweet words to keep you waiting. Let me remind you of something. You are not a waiting room. You are not a place where a man can sit until he decides what he wants. You are not a space where he can rest his emotions while he figures out if he wants to pursue you or keep his options open. If a man truly loves you, he will not need time, he will make time. He will make time to show you his intentions. He will make time to build with you, to invest in you, to secure your heart. But a man who keeps you waiting is a man who is stalling because deep down he already knows he doesn't see you as his future. Some of you have been sitting in the same cycle for years. You have been waiting, hoping, praying, believing that one day he will be ready. But let me ask you this, what is he waiting for? Is he waiting for more money, more success, more options? Let me tell you the truth. When a man truly desires something, he moves toward it. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't delay. He doesn't need years to decide if he wants to be with you. If you are the one, he will know it and he will act accordingly. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes 3:01, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. But some of you are stuck in a season that is not leading anywhere because the man you are waiting for is using time as an excuse to keep you from demanding more. Listen to me, God did not call you to be a placeholder. He did not create you to be a backup plan. You are a daughter of the Most High. You are valuable. You are worthy of a love that moves toward you, not one that asks you to wait indefinitely. Stop accepting delayed promises. Stop holding on to potential when a real man will see your value right now. It's time to stop waiting and start walking in your worth. If he needs time, give him all the time he wants without you. Because the right man will never need extra time to recognize a God-ordained woman. Walk away with your dignity. Walk away with your standards. Walk away knowing that God has something. Oh, my sisters, I need you to hear me today. When a man looks at you and says, you're overthinking things, what he's really saying is, I don't want to answer your questions. I don't want to be accountable. I don't want to deal with the truth. He is not protecting your heart. He is protecting his convenience. Because let's be real, when a man values you, he values your thoughts, your concerns, and your feelings. But when a man is using you, he will dismiss you, make you question yourself, and try to convince you that your instincts are wrong. But I came to tell somebody today that God gave you discernment for a reason. He placed intuition inside of you, and that feeling deep in your spirit is not an accident. When something feels off, it usually is off. When you notice patterns, inconsistencies, and things that don't add up, you are not overthinking. You are seeing clearly. The problem is not your thoughts. The problem is the truth he doesn't want to admit. And instead of being honest with you, instead of giving you clarity, he calls you paranoid, emotional, or dramatic. But let me tell you something, manipulation always comes wrapped in words that sound like concern. When he says, you're reading too much into it, what he really means is, I don't want you to look deeper, because if you do, you'll find out the truth. When he says you're being too sensitive, what he really means is, I don't want to be responsible for how my actions are affecting you. But the Bible says in Proverbs 4:7, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. If something doesn't feel right, don't ignore it. If something is making you uneasy, don't push it down. Because the enemy operates in confusion, but God operates in clarity. Some of you have spent too much time apologizing for asking questions that you have every right to ask. You have spent too many nights doubting yourself, wondering if you are imagining things, when in reality the red flags have been there all along. A man who truly cares about you will never make you feel bad for seeking the truth. He will never dismiss your concerns. He will never make you feel like your thoughts are a burden, because love is not deception. Love is transparency. I need somebody to hear me today. You do not have to silence yourself to keep a man. You do not have to pretend you don't see what you see. You do not have to ignore your gut just to hold on to a relationship that is already breaking you. If he is making you question your reality, it is time to wake up. If he refuses to give you clarity, it is time to walk away. Because a man who truly loves you will never make you feel crazy for seeking the truth. All my sisters, I need you to listen to me today. When a man looks at you and says, I'm not ready for a relationship right now, what he really means is, I want everything that comes with being in a relationship, but I don't want to commit to you. He wants your time, your attention, your loyalty, and your love. But when it comes to responsibility, when it comes to honoring you, when it comes to making things official, suddenly he's not ready. But let me ask you something. If he's not ready for a relationship, why is he still calling you? If he's not ready for a relationship, why does he get jealous when you give attention to someone else? If he's not ready for a relationship, why does he still want you to be available to him? See, the problem is not that he's not ready. The problem is that he doesn't see you as the one he wants to be ready for. And I know that's hard to hear, but sometimes the truth that hurts is the truth that sets you free. Some of you are sitting in a situation that has no future. You are pouring out your love, your energy, and your prayers for a man who has already told you that he does not want to commit. But because he still texts you, because he still spends time with you, because he still says he cares about you, you hold on hoping that one day he will wake up and realize your worth. But let me tell you something. A man who truly values you will not risk losing you. A man who truly wants to be with you will not keep you in limbo. The Bible says in Habakkuk 2:02, write the vision and make it plain. But some of you are entertaining men who have no vision for you. They have no plan, no direction, no real intention of building a future with you. And yet you are still holding on, hoping that if you just love him enough, if you just prove yourself, if you just wait a little longer, he will change. But let me tell you something. You cannot change a man who already knows what he wants. And if he wanted you, he would choose you. Not later, not someday, not when the time is right, but right now. Some of you have been in a situationship for years, waiting on a man to be ready. But let me tell you the truth. If he's not ready now, he won't be ready later. And even if he does get ready, chances are it won't be for you, because a man who tells you he's not ready is a man who is already looking past you. So I came to tell somebody today, stop waiting. Stop hoping for a change that is never coming. Stop giving your love to a man who refuses to give you commitment. You are not an option. You are not a convenience, and you are not a placeholder. If he's not ready, then you be ready to walk away, because the right man won't have to get ready to love you. He will already know your worth. Oh, my sisters, I need you to hear me today. When a man looks at you and says, you know I love you, right? You need to pay attention to when and why he says it. Because too often those words don't come from a place of truth. They come from a place of manipulation. A man who is using you will say, you know I love you, right? Not because he is proving his love through his actions, but because he wants to keep you where he has you. See, love is not just something you say, it is something you show. The Bible says in 1 John 3:18, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. But too many women are holding on to a man's words when his actions tell a completely different story. A man who disappears for days but comes back saying, you know I love you, right? Is not loving you. He's pacifying you. A man who mistreats you, who lies to you, who keeps you confused but then whispers, you know I love you, right? Is not loving you. He's controlling you. Some of you are staying in situations that are draining your soul because of 3 little words that are being used as a bandage for broken promises. But let me tell you something. Real love does not need to convince you. Real love is consistent. Real love makes you feel safe, not insecure. Real love brings clarity, not confusion. A man who truly loves you will not have to remind you because his love will be evident in the way he treats you every single day. But let's talk about the deeper issue. The reason why so many women fall for this line is because they are desperate for love. And when you are desperate, you will hold on to anything that looks like love, even when it's just manipulation in disguise. But listen to me, you don't have to beg for love. You don't have to accept crumbs of affection from a man who only gives you just enough to keep you holding on. You are not a beggar. You are a daughter of the Most High God. And when you know who you are, you will stop accepting "I love you" as a cover-up for actions that don't match those words. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians 13:04-7, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. So if his love is making you feel anxious, if his love is making you question your worth, if his love is inconsistent, then baby, that is not love. I came to tell somebody today, stop letting a man's words keep you in bondage. If he truly loves you, you won't have to wonder, you will know. Stop settling for empty words and start demanding real, undeniable, God-ordained love.
Oh, my sisters, I need you to listen to me today. When a man looks at you and says, "You're the only one I talk to," you need to stop, take a step back, and ask yourself, why does he feel the need to say that? Because more often than not, those words are not meant to give you peace. They are meant to stop you from asking questions. They are meant to make you feel secure without giving you real proof. See, a man who is truly faithful doesn't have to convince you. His actions will make it clear. He will not wait for you to ask before he reassures you. He will not be sneaky, guarded, or secretive about his life. He will not make you feel like you're crazy for wondering where you stand. But a man who is playing games, a man who is keeping his options open, a man who is living a double life, oh, he loves to say, "You're the only one I talk to." And he says it because he knows that's what you want to hear. But I came to wake somebody up today. Words without actions mean nothing. The Bible says in Luke 6:44, "For every tree is known by his own fruit." You don't judge a man by what he says, you judge a man by what he does. And if his words are telling you one thing, but his actions are telling you something else, baby, believe his actions. Some of you are ignoring the warning signs because you want to believe him. You want to trust him. You want so badly for this to be real that you silence your own discernment. But God gave you that feeling in your gut for a reason. That late night whisper in your spirit. That uneasiness you feel when something doesn't add up. That's not paranoia. That's God trying to warn you. But too many of you are letting a man's smooth words override what you already know in your heart. Let me tell you something. If you were really the only one he talks to, you wouldn't have to ask. You wouldn't have to go through his phone. You wouldn't have to wonder why he only calls you at certain times, why he hides his notifications. Why his story doesn't quite make sense. If a man is for you, he will be for you completely. Not halfway, not part-time, not just when it's convenient for him. And let me say this, if a man is quick to say, "You're the only one I talk to," but he gets defensive when you ask for clarity, that's a red flag right there. A real man who has nothing to hide will not make you feel guilty for wanting reassurance. A real man will not gaslight you, make you feel insecure, or treat you like you're crazy for asking questions. So I came to tell somebody today, stop holding on to empty words. Stop believing a man's lips when his life is telling a different story. The right man won't just say, "You're the only one." He will prove it every single day. Oh, my sisters, I need you to hear me today. And I came to tell somebody today, you are not a river. You are not meant to just flow wherever a man decides to take you. You are not meant to drift aimlessly in a relationship without direction, without purpose, without a destination. The Bible says in Habakkuk 2:02, "Write the vision and make it plain." But some of you are dealing with men who have no vision for you. They have no plan, no clear intention, no real desire to build something meaningful with you. They just want to enjoy the moment while keeping their options open. But let me tell you something. When a man truly loves you, he will not want to go with the flow. He will want to lead you somewhere. He will want to secure you. He will want to protect your heart, because love is not about drifting. It's about direction. And some of you are wasting years of your life flowing in a relationship that is going nowhere. Listen to me. When a man says, let's just go with the flow, what he's really saying is, I don't want to be held accountable. He doesn't want to define the relationship, because that would mean he has to show up in a real way. He doesn't want to make things official, because that would mean he has to choose you completely. So instead, he gives you vague words, false hope, and just enough affection to keep you holding on. But let me ask you something. How long will you flow? How long will you let a man delay what God has for you? How long will you sit in a situation that is stealing your time, your energy, and your ability to receive the real love that God has for you? Some of you need to stop flowing and start walking in your worth. A man who is serious about you will not be afraid to define the relationship. He will not hesitate to claim you. He will not leave you in a place of confusion, because love is clear. Love is intentional. Love has direction. So I came to tell somebody today, stop going with the flow. Stop settling for situationships that keep you stuck. Stop waiting on a man to choose you when God is telling you to choose yourself. Because the right man will never have you floating in uncertainty. He will anchor you in commitment.